I'm going to make it available on YouTube. Think about the bell work. We'll get back to this bell work later. Because today's Wednesday, we have to go straight away to our lesson. You have not enough time today. This week we started with chapter 7, quadratic equations and functions, and yesterday we learned how to complete the square, how to apply this method of completing the square. Just the first step we worked yesterday, to find out the little thing, the n that's missing, to turn the expression into a perfect square trinomial. I don't know if you remember, if you're here yesterday, but this is an example we worked. X squared plus 12x plus n, and we need to find n to make this into a perfect square trinomial, right? The formula, one of the formulas of a perfect square trinomial is this: a squared plus 2ba plus b squared, and we have to compare and check what's missing. What's missing here is n, which is going to be b squared, right? So we calculate n equals b squared, and b is 12 divided by 2, b squared, 12 divided by 2, 6 is squared. So what is the number missing on the last line, on this the spot of this question mark? Can you figure it out? That's my question today. Help me find this number. Send me a message with your guess. Kalia and you will. Thank you. You are right. You just don't need the negative sign. It's going to be n equals b squared, right? B squared. We can find that b equals 12 divided by 2, 6. So if b equals 6, b squared equals 6 squared. And 6 squared equals 36. The number missing here is 36. 36 is the right answer. 36 is the right answer. Thank you, Kalia. Thank you, Ewell. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. And I'm happy that you remember, because now we can move on to the next step. We will apply this completing the square methods to solve quadratic equations. Okay? So this is just the first step, one of the steps. Actually, let's have a look at the procedure later, but it's one of the steps to solve the quadratic equation. The procedure is here. I'm going to read it quickly because I know we don't understand just by reading the procedure. We can get by applying. So I will read real quick. Procedure to solve quadratic equations by completing the square. Step number 1 and step number 2, you don't need to be worried about, because on the quiz we only have leading coefficients equals to 1, and all the variables are isolated in the left hand side of the equations on the quiz. So you don't need to apply on the quiz step 1 or step 2. We start from step 3, complete the square. So this is going to be our first step. Add the square of 1/2 the linear term. That means add the square n, the value of n that we found yesterday. And after that, factor the resulting perfect square trinomial. Okay? And step number 3, apply the square root property and solve for x. Those are the steps we will apply to solve the quiz today. And as I told you, we don't understand by reading. We have to look at an example. But first, let me tell you the formulas, the perfect square trinomials that we will use. And the first one, we can figure it out by looking at this picture. Okay, because the side of the rectangle is a plus b, right? Both the four sides are a plus b, and here is also going to be, let me try to move this, okay. This is also a plus b, right? So the first formula we can figure out from this picture is a squared, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared equals to what? A plus b squared. This is the first special case, the first formula of perfect square trinomial that we will need. The second one, we have another one. It looks a lot like this, but is when we have the negative here. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared equals a minus b squared. So we're going to need these formulas, okay? You're going to need both formulas to help us solve today's quiz. Let's have a look on how to apply on an example. Keep the formula here. The example is that one. We have x squared minus 6x equals to 16. Solve by completing the square and applying the square root property. The first thing you have to do is add n on both sides. And we need the help of one of these formulas here. In this case, we have a negative, so the formula is a squared minus 2. You can say ab or ba, it's the same thing. Ba plus b squared equals what? A minus b. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's a bit hard, but we will practice, okay? Don't worry, because we're going to practice on the quiz. Tell me if there's any step you didn't understand. We selected the right formula of perfect square trinomial. We found n, we completed the square, and then we applied at the very end the square root property to find two different solutions. Okay? Any questions? Any step that is not clear, is too confusing, or any number that you don't know where it came from, just show up and the calculations that you don't know where it came from, and ask me if you have any questions at all. But if you're still a bit confused, you don't have a specific question, don't worry. We're gonna practice. We can maybe understand later on the quiz, when we are practicing together. Okay, no questions? I agree, it's confusing, it's a bit too much, but be patient, we will understand better when we practice, okay? So, now, before moving on to the practice round, tell me what is your answer for this bell work? So we don't know the ages, but we know the product of the ages is 45. If you multiply all the ages, you have 45. The clue to answer this question is to break down 45 into three numbers that you can find, you can multiply the three numbers and find 45. And I think most of you selected 15, because 15 is one of the numbers that you can use. 15 times 3 times 1. So this is a good option. Yes, it's a very good option. 15 times 3 times 1 is 45. But we also have other options. For example, you can have 9 times 5 times 1 is also 45, right? And there's another option. 5 times 3 times 3 is 45. And there's one last option, I think, but it doesn't make sense, is 45 times 1 times 1, but 45 is not age of a kid, right? We can just eliminate this. It doesn't make sense. There is a clue. We have 3 options. We have to select the right option. There is a clue here. They have twins. And twins have the same age. So we have a couple of kids with the same age. Which one of the options, you can see 2 kids with the same age. We have 3 options. Which one have twins? 2 kids with the same age. Not the first one, right? Not the second, but the last one. Yes, the last one, we have 2 kids with the same age. The older kids on the last option is 5 years old, and we have the twins, each one with 3, they are each one 3 years old. So the right option is the last one, and the right answer, the age of the older kid is 5 years old, or just 5. Okay? Do you all agree is the right answer? And I understand why you answer 15. Most of you answer 15. It's not wrong. No. But it might be, but we don't have an option that we have the older ones as twins. We should have some kind of option that the older ones are twins. Like if you have 15 and 15, it's not going to be 15 times 15 is not 45, right? But I understand why you are why most of you answered 15. Yes, I understand. Makes sense. It's one of the options. 15 is one of the options. You have to use the clue of the twins. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Smiling. Thank you, Maddie, Adrian, Christiel, Ariana, Julian, Makina, Keon, Cynthia, Jalexis, Kalia, and Ewell. I understand why you answered 15, but the right option is kind of tricky, right? But the right option is 5 years old, the older kids. This is just a warm-up. Let's move to the quiz now. That's what matters, what gives us the grade.
Wait, what would we write for the bell work?
The right answer is 5 years old. We have to solve the quadratic equation by completing the square and applying the square root property. This completing the square part we have done yesterday. If you check the equations, they look alike the expressions that we worked yesterday. So for example, letter A, x squared plus 6x equals 16. Yesterday we worked with x squared plus x, 6x plus n. So we can use the result from yesterday. From yesterday we found, right? We found that n equals b squared equals to 9. So we can use this. We can start from this point. We're going to add n on both sides of the equation. X squared plus 6x plus n is 9, equals 16 plus n, and n is 9. Okay? We can do this, add n on both sides of the equation. Now you have on this side a perfect square trinomial. If you check the formula, this is equals to a plus b squared. A is x, b is 3, so this is a plus b squared, x plus 3 squared. Equals to 16 plus 9, 25. Okay? Now apply the square root property. Apply the square root on both sides. Don't forget, this is positive or negative. Okay? And square root of 25 is 5. We will find 2 different solutions. The first one, x plus 3 equals negative 5. The second one, x plus 3 equals positive 5. Okay? Move this positive 3 to the other side, it becomes negative. Do the same thing here at the bottom, move to the other side, becomes negative. And now we can find the solutions. The first one is x equals negative 5 minus 3, negative 8. The second is positive 5 minus 3, positive 2. Okay? Those are the answers for letter A. Yes, perfect, great, Jacob. Yes, yes, that's right. Now I give you a minute to work on more questions and check if you're gonna need help in other questions. In the meanwhile, I will make sure I have the right attendance. Just give me a minute and I will be back to work together. For letter F, let's remember what we have worked yesterday. On yesterday, we found n equals to b squared equals to 12 squared 144. This is from yesterday, right? Now I can add x squared plus 24x plus 144 equals to negative 23 plus 144. This is going to be a perfect square trinomial that we can write as a plus b, and b is 12 squared, equals to negative 23 plus 144 is 121. Apply the square root property on both sides and you're going to find square root of 121 is 11, right? Now we can write down the solutions. We're going to have two solutions. X plus 12 equals negative 11, or x plus 12 equals positive 11. Move this to the other side. Remember, this will change the sign. It's positive, becomes negative. And you find the solutions. X equals negative 11 minus 12, negative 23. Positive 11 minus 12, negative 1. Those are the answers. Negative 23 and negative 1. And the other question is letter G. Let's work on letter G. Yesterday, we worked on n, and we found for this question, n equals b squared equals 49. Now we apply y squared plus 14y plus 49 equals 15 plus 49. Since this is going to be a perfect square trinomial, a plus b, and b is 7 squared, equals to what? 15 plus 49 is 64. Right? Apply the square root on both sides. positive or negative. And square root of 64 is 8. Now we can write down the answers. We have two answers, two solutions. The first one is y plus 7 equals negative 8. Second one, y plus 7 equals positive 8, right here. Do the same thing, moving this positive 7 to the other side, becomes a negative 7. And we finally will write down here the answer, y equals negative 8 minus 7, negative 15, positive 8 minus 7, positive 1. Those are the answers. All right, thank you, Leonardo. Thank you.